Did you know that Piccolo already has Divine Ki? Not only that, Piccolo will likely be connected to one of the most powerful gods, if not the most powerful god in the series, Zalama. Who exactly is Zalama, and how can I say he's likely the most powerful god of all time? Well, there's a video on my channel where I go in depth about that exact topic. I would recommend you check that out before checking out this one. But since I know most of you guys aren't gonna do that, let me just give you a quick summary. Zalama is the god who created Super Shenron. Super Shenron is the dragon summoned whenever you use the Super Dragon Balls, and so far there is no limit to the wish that Super Shenron can grant. Now, this is a big deal in the series because usually a dragon's power is limited by the power of its creator. For example, in Dragon Ball Z, Shenron could not destroy Vegeta and Nappa, who are on their way to Earth, because Kami, the creator of Shenron, was weaker than Vegeta and Nappa. Alright, thanks for the history lesson, Dooley, but I'm here to find out about my man Piccolo and what he has to do with this new Zalama dude. Why are you telling me about Kami and Vegeta and all that? Alright, listen, calm down, I'm gonna get there. If the dragon's power is limited by the power of its creator, and Super Shenron's power is essentially limitless, it implies that Zalama, who is the creator of Super Shenron, also had virtually limitless power himself. We're talking about a being who is potentially stronger than even the Omni King. Look at that. Now I have your attention a little bit, right? Okay, now although we don't know a huge amount about Zalama, what we do know heavily implies that he will have very close ties to Piccolo in the future, and that is what I will be talking about in this video. But before I get into it, just real quick guys, my name is Dooley. You can find me at youtube.com/Dooley, but you won't just find me, you will find hundreds of Dragon Ball Super videos and a community of over 82,000 Dragon Ball Super fans, a growing family that you are welcome to join. You can do so by clicking the subscribe button below this video or the link in the description. If you do decide to do that, then welcome to the family in advance. That's it. Now let's hop into this video. So what does Zalama have to do with Piccolo? Well, I'm gonna come right out and say it. The biggest connection is that everything we know about Zalama so far implies that he had a special relationship with the Namekian race. For example, the Dragon Balls from planet Namek were taken directly from fragments of the Super Dragon Balls. They were a derivative of Zalama's work. Not only that, the knowledge behind creating the dragon that is summoned whenever these Dragon Balls are gathered together, having that dragon be able to grant wishes, having those Dragon Balls scatter after they're used, and even having the stars in those Dragon Balls look the same from all angles. All that knowledge was created by Zalama, but for some reason, Namekians were able to replicate this. This implies that at some point, the Namekians were able to gather this knowledge from Zalama. Maybe they were his disciples, or maybe Zalama was even Namekian himself. If you're not yet convinced, guys, consider this. The Super Dragon Balls was scattered between Universe 6 and Universe 7, which as far as we know are the only two universes where Namekians exist. Okay, now here's the deal. It is very likely that Zalama is still alive. Not just because he's so powerful or because he's a god, but because usually when the creator of a set of Dragon Balls die, the Dragon Balls are deactivated or destroyed. They lose their power. Because the Super Dragon Balls are still able to summon Super Shenron and grant wishes, that heavily implies that Zalama is out there somewhere, doing whatever, waiting to be reintroduced back into the series at some point. Great. So far we've established that not only is Zalama powerful and important, he also has a special connection, a special tie to Namekians. He may even be Namekian himself, and he is likely still alive. So what does this have to do with Piccolo? Alright, well, besides the obvious point that Piccolo is Namekian, not only that, he is the strongest Namekian from Universe 7 and likely from Universe 6 as well. Remember that the two Namekians that Piccolo fought in the Tournament of Power, Sionel and Purina, they were both very powerful, but they were fusions of multiple Namekians from Universe 6, and Piccolo was still just as strong as they were, if not stronger. So Piccolo being the strongest Namekian, definitely from Universe 7 and possibly even from Universe 6 as well, right off the bat makes him an obvious point of interest for Zalama. Again, this is because Zalama has this special connection with Namekians, but it goes a little bit deeper than that for Piccolo, and I'm excited to talk about this because I want to hear what some of you guys think. There was a being called the Nameless Namekian. This being was essentially the old Piccolo from about 500 years ago. Now, we don't know a lot about this being. We don't even know his name. Get it? Because it's the Nameless Namekian? Okay, whatever. But the reason why it's fair to call him the old Piccolo is because his soul was essentially what Piccolo is now. This isn't going to be new to anyone who watched Dragon Ball Z, but I'm sure if you started the series with Dragon Ball Super, you are going to find this very interesting. So listen up. This Nameless Namekian, for whatever reason, wanted to become the guardian of Earth. But you can't become a guardian with evil in your heart. And so, this Namekian managed to split his soul into two. The good part of his soul became its own Namekian, known as Kami, who became the guardian for planet Earth. The bad part of his soul became King Piccolo. Now, the Piccolo that we see today is a reincarnation of King Piccolo. After Kid Goku defeated King Piccolo, he transferred his soul to an egg that birthed the Piccolo we know now. Then, during the Android saga in Dragon Ball Z, Piccolo reunited his soul with his other half, with Kami, thus recreating the Nameless Namekian. One major difference now, however, is that the Nameless Namekian now has a name. It's Piccolo. This isn't the complete story, however, because Piccolo had done a lot of personal growth in that time, including fusing with another Namekian named Nail. So the new Nameless Namekian was much stronger than even the old Nameless Namekian. The new Piccolo was much stronger than the old Piccolo from 500 years ago. Why am I talking about this so much? That is because the Nameless Namekian is to the Namekian race what Goku is to the Saiyan race. This isn't my opinion. This is a fact. This is how the story was written. Down to the fact that the Nameless Namekian was put on a ship and sent to planet Earth as a child to escape the almost complete destruction of his race. That's how the Nameless Namekian, or the original Piccolo, got to Earth. But here's the deal. Even as a child, the Nameless Namekian was a prodigy. We are talking about he had strength that could rival that of an untrained Super Saiyan. Again, these aren't my words or opinion, these are fact. These are things we learned during the Namek saga of Dragon Ball Z through flashbacks about Piccolo. It was believed by the Namekians on planet Namek during the Frieza saga that the Nameless Namekian, so the old Piccolo, could have easily defeated Frieza. Frieza at 100% had a max power level of about 120 million, which is about 30 million shy of Goku in his Super Saiyan form. These native Namekian only knew about the Nameless Namekian, the old Piccolo, as a child, because that's when the old Piccolo was sent to planet Earth. He was still a child, and they believed that his power then was enough to defeat Frieza, which really isn't too much of a stretch, because when Piccolo reunited with Kami in the Android saga of Dragon Ball Z, he was clearly much stronger than the base Super Saiyan form. Alright guys, here we go. Just give me a few seconds, let me put this all into context. The Nameless Namekian, as a child, the old Piccolo was one of the strongest beings in the entire universe, outside of the gods, of course, outside of people like Beerus and Whis. He was leaps and bounds ahead of all other Namekians. So here we have a race that has a special connection with one of the most powerful gods to ever live, maybe the most powerful god, Zalama. Within that race, one of the most powerful beings in the entire universe is born, the Nameless Namekian, the old Piccolo. I think that is because the creators of Dragon Ball had and likely still have a larger-than-life story for Piccolo by the end of the Dragon Ball series. And this is all speculation, but maybe Piccolo or the nameless Namekian is some sort of reincarnation or transference of some of Zalama's power. Or maybe it's just his destiny to replace Zalama. Whatever role Zalama is playing in the Dragon Ball universe right now, again, we don't yet know what that is, but I think it's fair to assume that it's likely something very important. The creator of the Super Dragon Balls, whatever he's doing right now, is likely very important to maintaining the balance of all the universes. Maybe that's the role Piccolo is intended to play by the end, the very end of this series. Dende and Kami became the guardians of Earth. Maybe Piccolo becomes the guardian of all the universes. Just two quick things before I wrap this video up. The first one is, in the promotional art being revealed for the upcoming movie in December, a movie about the origin of Saiyan, we get the reveal of Vegeta, Whis, and Beerus, but then right below them, Piccolo is revealed. His art style and the fact that he's going to play a role in this movie is revealed. This is before other Saiyans like Gohan or possibly even future Trunks. Is that because we are finally going to learn more about Piccolo's relationship to Zalama in this movie? We already know that parts of this movie are going to be taking place in the past. Are we going to finally get more information about the nameless Namekian and the role Namekians played in the history of the Saiyans? Remember that the guidelines on how to become a Super Saiyan God was written in the Namekian Book of Legend, which heavily implies that the Namekians played a role in the development of the Saiyan race. Lastly, at the very beginning of this video, I mentioned that Piccolo possesses God Ki. He possesses Divine Ki. And that isn't because of his potential connection to Zalama. That is because Kami possessed Divine Ki, God Ki, and he is now part of Piccolo. So if you made it to this point in the video, hit me with a hashtag God Piccolo in the comments below. Guys, the final thing that I want to mention about all of this is actually something that I've been thinking about for a while. If you take a look at the Namekian race and you take a look at the abilities they possess, it's just ridiculous. They can literally do things like use their ki to instantly regrow their limbs, or magic materialization, which is having things appear out of nowhere essentially. We've seen Piccolo and Kami do this multiple times. Like, Piccolo would just create clothes for Gohan, for Kid Gohan. They even have the power of creation, the ability to create the Dragon Balls and create their own eternal dragon. The powers of the Namekian race are incredible, and this is likely because of their connection with the god Zalama. Piccolo being a prodigy of this race likely isn't an accident, and I think it's fair to assume that those things are all going to play a big role in Piccolo's story before the Dragon Ball franchise comes to an end. As a side note, because I know this will show up in the comments of this video, I'm aware that in the English dub, Zuno, who is that guy that Bulma visited to learn more about the Super Dragon Balls, he referred to Zalama and Super Shenron as the same being. However, I believe this is just a mistranslation, or maybe it's trying to infer that Super Shenron is just an echo of Zalama's power. Either way, this is not what was said in the original Japanese manga or anime. I also want to mention real quick that I think Namekians look a little bit like baby Shenron. Same green skin with antennae. I'm just putting that out there. Anyway, let me know what you guys think about all this. I'm excited to read some of your comments. I want you guys to do me a favor. Be kind to each other. Hashtag Dooku in the comments below. I love you guys. I will be talking to you again real soon. Have a great day. Bye.